Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we broadcast every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics, including wellness and health care, elder care, even end-of-life care. And of course, the most important is caregiver support. Today is Saturday, September 7th, 2019, and we have another great show for you today. Joining me in studio are three incredible people. First, we have Laura Dodd, Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home in Bloomington. We also have Cindy Johnson, Life Care Coordinator at the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Boggio. They're located in Richfield. And finally, we have Terry Collins, Director of Outreach and Community Relations at Touching Hearts at Home. And they have locations in Bloomington and Plymouth. Today, we will be discussing the rise of senior scams and how to protect you and your loved ones from being victimized. We'll also be discussing the upcoming third annual Senior Scams Conference being held at the beautiful campus of Minnesota Masonic Home, located in Bloomington on the banks of the Minnesota River. We are broadcasting live today and are looking forward to answering your questions on this growing problem of senior scams being perpetrated on our vulnerable aging population. You can call us with your questions at 952-946-6205. Once again, that number is 952-946-6205. Our show producer, Eric Nelson, will be answering the phones today, so please give him a call and get your question on the air. Thank you, Eric, for your help today.
Thanks, Ken. Standing by for phone calls.
All right, great. Or, if you prefer, if you're a little bit shy, you can directly text us your questions anytime during the show to our radio show phone, which is 612-999-3426. Once again, 612-999-3426 can get your text question on the air. Otherwise, give Eric a call, and he'd be happy to put you on the air. All right, as a reminder, you can always leave us a voice message or a text message anytime on our radio show phone number. We appreciate hearing your questions, comments, and suggestions. Please continue to send us those ideas for future shows. And again, that number is 612-999-3426. People always ask me, how do I hear that last show you guys did or a previous show? I said, it's so easy. Just go on the AM 950 website and click the On Demand button, and then scroll down and click on our logo, Living Healthy and Aging Well. The purpose of this radio show is to bring you specialists and experts and people with a passion for helping others from across the health and wellness fields to provide insights and recommendations on how to navigate the complexities and challenges of managing both you and your family's health and quality of life. We also focus on our senior population and how we can help you prepare for the various stages of life's transitions. In addition, we provide vital information for the caregivers who are essential to supporting our aging population. And I am so grateful each week for the opportunity to discuss these timely and important topics with you, and I am thankful for the tremendous response you provided us regarding this unique radio show. All right, let's introduce our guest today. This is going to be a fun show. First of all, we have fun people in the studio. That makes a big difference. But also the topic is very interesting. I think the speed at which these scams are proliferating is really ridiculous. I mean, I'm talking to people all the time throughout the work that we do at elder care and end-of-life care, and it is a day doesn't go by, I think, when someone doesn't have a story about somebody either attempted to or being scammed. So we're going to introduce our guests here right now. First, let's talk with Laura Dodd. She's the Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time on a Saturday here in the summertime in Minnesota. This is great. Give us a bit about your background and how you ended up working at Minnesota Masonic Home.
Sure. I've actually been a social worker for 34 years. I've had a variety of experiences. I actually did a lot of contract work for different facilities, so I was able to see a lot of the facilities within the metro area, and it's such a joy to be able to see how the different services are handled there. I ended up at Masonic Home 12 years ago, and I think it's because I absolutely love the care. I love the innovation. We have independent, long-term care, memory care. We have the largest transitional care with 100 patients that we're able to care for at any given time. So a lot of just a very vibrant community, and it really drew me to that.
Well, tell us more about Minnesota Masonic Home. Now, I grew up in Bloomington, so I've known about that campus throughout my life, and it is a gorgeous campus and a beautiful setting. I think you mentioned on your website it's idyllic, and it really is. But there's a great story behind that too, as you guys celebrate 100 years of serving Minnesotans.
Absolutely. We're celebrating our 100th year anniversary. There's a great history. We have a museum that can talk all about the Masons' ability to share and to really augment our whole campus. We have a specialized stroke program that we've developed over the last couple of years, too. And the Masons have been very generous and kind and offer, again, a lot of support to us.
Yeah. Well, if people are interested, they should call you and take a tour, because it's to look at almost part of Minnesota's history, having 100 years of serving others. I mean, that's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd be happy to talk to anyone and tour them.
Great. And what we'll do is at the beginning of each segment here, we'll ask you guys to give your phone numbers and how people can contact you. So,
Sure.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Laura, for that. Let's jump next to Cindy Johnson. She's the life care coordinator with the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Boggio. Now, everybody needs a life care coordinator, don't they? I mean, we're going to talk a little. I'm going to ask you, Cindy, about what is the role of a life care coordinator. But before we do that, let's talk about your background and how you ended up working at the law firm.
Okay, thanks, Ken, for having us here today. I am a social worker by trade. I'm a licensed social worker in the state of Minnesota. And Laura, you may not know that I did an internship at Masonic at one point in time, because we all love Masonic. And my background is I worked at long-term care facilities, I worked at transitional care, and then I got into medical social work in the Fairview system. So I did that for several years, did a little bit of hospice prior to coming to the law firm. So Chris Mazur has been around for quite some time, and she has been passionate about helping the older population and serving them in the community and helping them navigate the healthcare system. And she has been very innovative in her firm as it grows, having the opportunity to employ a full-time social worker there, which they call a life care coordinator. And the great thing about that is having my background and being able to help our clients navigate the system, being available to answer questions, provide support, direct people through the long-term care system and how complicated that can be, and helping them with housing options, etc.
And I'll tell you, we have really complicated elder care, haven't we, in the U.S.? And I think part of it goes to the fact that our extended families don't take care of each other anymore like they used to years and years ago, generations ago. It's very, we're all scattered. I mean, I see that in hospice, where we're working with someone who's in Boston and a child that's in Europe, and they're trying to coordinate care for a parent, and it's a lot of work. So thank you so much for what you do for both the law firm but also for our communities. All right, the last couple of minutes here, Terry, I want to get you in here, and if we can't finish, we can always catch up with you on the next segment here. But Terry Collins is the Director of Outreach and Community Relations with Touching Hearts at Home. Great organization that does home care, and we'll talk more about them here. But Terry, give us a bit about your background and how you ended up then working with Touching Hearts at Home.
I moved to Minnesota 31 years ago. I was working in the women's accessory business, and I spent most of my career there selling either women's accessories or handbags or shoes. And, I was brought up here to sell Dayton's, and when Macy's closed that buying office, I had to find a real job. And I tried a few things for a number of years, wasn't really happy or wasn't really gratified by any of that work. And I answered an ad to go into private duty home care with another company. And I was there for a few years, and I spent a year in Medicare accredited home care with another company. And then just this past fall, I got a gift, and that was Brianne and Aaron from Touching Hearts asked me to come work for them. And they have been so supportive of all our community outreach efforts, and have been a major sponsor of this event even before I joined the company. So not much else to tell you.
Well, I'll tell you, those are great people, too. I've had them on the show before, and they are wonderful. Great passion and vision for helping our communities serve our seniors, and they're great. We'll have to have them back on a show here in the future. So anyway, we are up against the clock. Eric is going to start playing our outtake music, and so please stay with us. We are just getting into the senior scams conversation that is so needed with taking care of our vulnerable senior citizen population. So it's time for a quick break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Laura Dodd, Cindy Johnson, and Terry Collins on senior scams. Please stay with us.
In today's challenging world, many of us are asking, but what can I do? I'm Gail Shore with Cultural Jambalaya, and I asked the same question, so I formed a small nonprofit to try to make a difference. We create educational videos featuring my global photography and cultural experiences that we offer to teachers without charge to broaden worldviews of their students. These videos help to break down cultural barriers and promote understanding and respect for all people. That's what we do. We also know that there are many others doing great work, and we recognize them at our annual Diversity Awards. This year we'll celebrate students from Stillwater, Asian American leaders, and educators from South St. Paul and Rochester. The Cultural Jambalaya Diversity Awards will take place Thursday, October 3rd at the Metropolitan in Golden Valley.
And while tickets for the Cultural Jambalaya are now sold out, you can still follow along what's happening by going to their social media accounts. Just search Cultural Jambalaya or visit their website at culturaljam.org. That's culturaljam.org.
Hey everyone, Ellie Krug here from Ellie 2.0 Radio on Mondays from 7 to 8 a.m. This month, I'm sharing about opportunities to hear me in person. I'm having an open house on Thursday, October 17th in Minneapolis. Come hear about my work and about my nonprofit, Human Ripple Works, Inc. You need to register. There's no charge, but I need a head count. To register, go to elliekrug.com and see the upcoming engagements page. Scroll down, click on the link for October 17th to register. That's me, Ellie the Idealist, trying to make the world better. Hope to see you.
Eat fresh and support local farmers by shopping at the Minneapolis Farmers Market. It's peak time at the Farmers Market. Lots of sweet corn, eggplants, fresh and local fruits and vegetables, meat and farmstead goods. Keep the summer bounty all year long because it's a great time to pickle and can. Look for the cucumbers, incredible dill, canning tomatoes. The Minneapolis Farmers Market is open every day, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Plus, there's additional locations, Tuesdays at the Hennepin County Government Center and Thursdays at Nicollet Mall. More details at mplsfarmersmarket.com.
Hi, this is Paul Metza, inviting you to listen to the Wall of Power Radio Hour every weekend on AM 950. We are on at 6 p.m. on Saturday, 4 p.m. on Sunday. We feature artists, musicians, raconteurs, private detectives, and more. 6 p.m. Saturday night on AM 950. Wall of Power Radio Hour. Get guaranteed appliance savings from Minnesota's own Warner Stellian. Here's our winning lineup. Warner Stellian sells more brands than anyone. Their specialists help you choose what's best for you, easy and fun, and the savings, they're guaranteed. Then save more with Warner Stellian's trusted, fast, free delivery, professional installation, and free haul away. Join over 300,000 Minnesota homeowners. Choose Warner Stellian to be your appliance specialist before September 11th for unbeatable appliance savings. Warner Stellian.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today in studio is Laura Dodd, Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home in Bloomington. Also, we have Cindy Johnson, Life Care Coordinator at the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Boggio, located in Richfield, and Terry Collins, Director of Outreach and Community Relations at Touching Hearts at Home, located in Bloomington and Plymouth. And today we are talking about senior scams. Great show. So I'm really looking forward to the next three segments here. But before we get back into our conversation, I do want to mention there's an amazing team in Bloomington at the Sano Wellness Center. And if you are suffering from chronic ailments or other lifelong frustrations with your health and are willing to make minor changes to your lifestyle to regain your health and overall well-being, please contact this amazing team at Sano Wellness Center. Their phone number is 952-681-2916. Once again, 952-681-2916, or visit them online at sanowc.care. That's SANOWC.care. Their focus is to partner with you in balancing the three main areas of physical, mental, and spiritual areas to achieve total well-being and regain your enjoyment of life. All right. Laura, let me just ask you, I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to get their phone number or their contact information out to the audience before we get too deep in the topic here of the event that's going to be coming up about senior scams. Do you have a phone number that people could reach you at Minnesota Masonic Home?
Yes, I do. It's 952-948-7405.
Fantastic. And Cindy, could I get a phone number from you on the law firm?
952-925-4147.
Great. And we're going to give those out again after each commercial break. Terry, how do we get a hold of you at Touching Hearts at Home?
My phone number is 952-652-4530.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. Let's talk about this event that is coming up here really quickly. It's coming up in about 11 days. Mm-hmm. It's the third annual Senior Scams Conference. And so I'm really curious, what prompted you guys to start hosting this very, very valuable conference? And give me about the history and kind of how this whole thing germinated.
It's kind of funny because nothing starts as you think it would. This was we had done a continuing education event at Minnesota Masonic 2.5 years ago, and had great speakers from elder law, from Elder Justice Center, the law enforcement, Better Business Bureau, and when we got done, we said, this is great, but we don't know if we got the whole audience, because we needed to talk to the seniors and their families, not just the professionals that take care of them. And so sitting around one day, we just decided, all of us that, and many others, by the way, that we had to find a way to get this out to the seniors and their families. And we all worked together to get the first event set up, and we had like 50 people come at the Bloomington Civic Plaza. The city of Bloomington hosted for the first 2 years, and we thanked them for everything they did. They had a few changes in what they do and could no longer support it. But this year, Minnesota Masonic stepped up, and last year we doubled our attendance from the first year. This year we're looking to double it again, and I think we're looking to get the information out to as many people as we possibly can, and we have great speakers. And I'm going to let Cindy talk, because she did a wonderful job of procuring the two folks that are going to be speaking at this year's event.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that, about the content. It's going to be a half-day conference, right, Cindy?
Right. It'll be a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours here, mm-hmm. 2 hours of speaking. And I had the opportunity to work with Mike Marbin in the past, and he is the Commerce Fraud Bureau Director. He had been a police officer in Apple Valley prior to that job. And I had the opportunity to talk with him, and we just were sharing stories about the types of scams we've been seeing. And I had seen some in the hospital and in care centers and, of course, in the law firm. And hearing all that information, we were thinking about, how can we try to provide more information to the community so that they can be better prepared on how to deal with this. And I think probably all of us here and your listeners have experienced some of that fraud, having people call us and say we'll be arrested if we don't call the Social Security office right away. And I'm now starting to receive scams as text messages. So I think it's an important topic, and with the crowd that we're serving, they are certainly being targeted more often than not, because the boomers, of course, we all know, make up, or they have, the boomers control 80% of America's disposable income. So I think with that said, we're targeting an audience that really needs to have this information and be prepared on what they do and how they can navigate scammers when they are approaching them.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of when someone asked Jesse James, why do you rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing applies here.
Absolutely.
Not only is the money there, but you've got people who are starting to lose some of their capacity to be able to manage that. And so, again, we're going to talk more about this here. We're up against the last 2 minutes of this segment. But let's also mention you've got 2 speakers.
Yes,
right?
I have Chris Mazer from our company coming. Chris has been in the field for a very long time, and throughout our practice, she has seen all kinds of different scams. So not just the ones that are coming from people that we don't know, but also from our family members or relatives. And so that's a very important topic, and Chris does a fabulous job presenting and engaging the audience and talking about the everyday red flags that we should all watch out for.
Now, talk about Chris for a little bit here, just because she founded the firm, right?
Yes.
And so she's been doing this practice for since 84, right?
Mm-hmm. She started as a teacher and then got into law, and she has been passionate about elder law and about the elderly crowd, and she has taken care of her parents and just everyone who she employs and all who come to elder law. You really have to have a passion for working for those people. But Chris is very passionate, has been very driven to build our firm up, which now has 12 attorneys, and we just focus on elder law. So we do see these scams coming through our company as well.
Well, you're one of the largest firms that does specialize. I mean, you guys have, again, a lot of paralegals to help support the legal staff. I mean, it's a large
organization. And the
organization.
litigation department as well.
Right, which not a lot of smaller agency or firms have that ability. So you get the comprehensive service all under one roof, which is great.
And a social worker to boot.
Right, and an amazing social worker. Well, no, because it's a very complicated area, and people shouldn't go into trying to solve elder care issues without some help. And you guys are great at helping support that. All right. Eric is kicking us out here of this segment with our music. So let's take a short break, and we'll be right back to continue our conversation with Laura Dodd, Cindy Johnson, and Terry Collins on the area of senior scams. So please stay with us.
AM 950 is hosting a debate watching party on Thursday, September 12th at the Park Tavern in St. Louis Park. Come watch with like-minded progressives as the Democratic presidential candidates debate all the important issues and figure out how to beat Trump. Doors will open a half hour before the start of the debate. Your ticket includes free debatable appetizers with a cash bar. We'll play a debate-themed Blue No Matter Who bingo with lots of great prizes. Matt McNeil and the Repartee crew will be there. And if you have ideas for our weekly Tuesday Solution show, we'd love to hear them. Debate watching tickets are only $15 and they will go fast, so make sure you order now at am950radio.com. So let's watch the debate together on Thursday, September 12th at the Park Tavern in St. Louis Park as we figure out who will dump Trump in 2020. Order your tickets now at am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com. And if you have any questions, call us at 952-946-8885. Chances are after spring cleaning you missed a spot. A couple really big spots, like your roof and siding. Run your fingers across your siding. You'll likely get a gross residue. And your roof probably has some black streaks too. Your roof and siding aren't always easy to clean, but they're definitely the most visible parts of your home that give it its curb appeal. So let Blue Sky Services clean your roof and siding. Blue Sky's safe soft wash method won't cause any damages and will make your home look like new. Right now, Blue Sky Services is running their summer special where you can get your whole house, roof, and siding cleaned starting at only $447. That's the most viewed parts of your home cleaned for only $447. Then mention AM 950 when you call Blue Sky Services to get an additional $50 off. So get the curb appeal back on your home and call Blue Sky Services at 952-467-2447. That's 952-467-2447.
Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall with Bricks Real Estate and host of the Twin Cities Real Estate Show on this station, here with your Market Minute. 3.93 is the average number of showings per week per listing in the median sale price range here in the Twin Cities. This is seasonally appropriate and is a key early indicator of demand in the marketplace. The median sale price is up 5.9% and currently sits at $283K. The 30-year conventional interest rate is at about 3.6%, which is a new 3-year low. The conclusion for sellers, showing activity is down, but the fall market is just around the corner. So if you're not on the market yet, you may want to consider holding tight for a couple more weeks. The conclusion for buyers, rates are down once again, and statistically based on showing activity, we are in a buyer's market. This may hold true for the next few weeks as summer wraps up, so take advantage of this opportunity as soon as possible. Are you thinking about making a move? Check us out online anytime at housegeeks.com.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Eric Nelson. Today, a 30% chance of rain with a high near 68, and tonight, a low around 54. Sunday, rain after 1 p.m. with a high of 63 and a low around 55. Monday, rain continues with a high of 69 and a low around 63.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's triple savings sale gives you 3 ways to save up to $2,500 on a new furnace and AC this September. Learn more about these great savings at StandardHeatingDeals.com. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, comfort you deserve.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life and your loved one's health and life. A very unique radio show, first of its kind in the nation. And my name is Ken Hageland. And joining me today in studio is an amazing group of people. Laura Dodd, Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home in Bloomington. Also, Cindy Johnson, Life Care Coordinator at the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Boggio, and they're located in Richfield. And Terry Collins, Director of Outreach and Community Relations at Touching Hearts at Home, and they have locations in Bloomington and Plymouth. And we are all talking about senior scams here. But before we get back into our conversation, I want to mention that this radio program is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. They are an independent, physician-owned medical practice serving local Minnesota communities for over 11 years with innovative and comprehensive end-of-life health care. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice at 952-898-1022 or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's quickly get some phone numbers out to people in case they have questions for all three of you. So we'll start with Laura. Could you give us your phone number for anybody interested in taking a tour of Minnesota Masonic Home in Bloomington?
Absolutely, 952-948-7405.
Wonderful. And Laura, if anybody has any questions that may be legal orientated or maybe even social work orientated, what number can they use to reach out to you?
Okay, this is Cindy, and my number is 952-925-5555. 4147.
And that's to get access to the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Beaujeu.
Correct.
Okay. And then, Terry, how do we get a hold of you and your organization for home care?
You can dial me directly at 952-652-4530.
All right, fantastic. Well, let's resume our conversation that we have been working up towards here the last couple segments about senior scams and how they're proliferating at an amazing rate. We were talking off the air between the breaks here on how and why this is happening. I want to talk about that here during this third segment. Cindy, help us understand, maybe why we're seeing a proliferation in these type of scams perpetrated on our aging population.
Okay, well, the baby boomers, as most people may have heard, are increasing in size. There are 10,000 people turning 65 every day for the next 10 years. So we have a large population, and I think the other thing that we look at too is that there's two groups that are scamming people. One is people who you don't know or strangers. And then the other group is family, relatives, or friends that are scamming people. So we have this large group. We have people who are socially isolated. Perhaps they're retired, their family has moved away, they're divorced, widowed, they don't have children, and they're lonely. And people when you're lonely, you're desperate to pick up that phone call, to have someone give you a call, to have someone pay attention to you, to have someone think something's interesting about you or engage in conversation. I think the other thing that people are easily enticed by is the scams when they say you win the lotto, because we all would like to have more money. But again, if you didn't enter the lotto, it's unlikely that you won the lotto. And I think when people are knowing the cost of health care and thinking that, how am I going to provide for myself moving forward, some of these scams seem very enticing.
Well, I think, too, part of the things that I see is that people are beginning to have some cognitive impairment.
Yes.
And with that is judgment. You don't think of that always, but the judgment, it may seem kind of silly to us, like, well, of course I didn't win the lotto. But if your judgment is impaired slightly, one example of a gentleman at a neighboring campus, the exact thing, he thought he won the lotto. And it wasn't until his daughter looked at a $10,000 transfer that it was actually discovered. And he was very adamant that he still had to transfer another $5,000. And to watch the dynamics in this family and the struggling for this gentleman who was, he was a CPA for a very large company. And to have that taken away and to be seen as maybe not making the best decision was very embarrassing. And people don't want to talk about it. And that's why it goes unreported, I think, too.
Well, let's talk about that unreported. We were talking off the air how this is one of the least reported or most underreported crimes in America these days. And I
believe the statistic is for every case reported, 20 are unreported.
Yeah. Just because of what we talked about, the embarrassment. A lot of times they don't even know that they were scammed, and we can talk about maybe some of the protections. And one area was having your daughter look at your bank statement or having a family member see what's going on to help check and make sure that something like that is not happening. Because the sooner it's caught, maybe the sooner there could be some help to get resolution on that.
And I want to encourage seniors, too, that have fallen for it. You may look back and you hang up that phone and you just know in the pit of your stomach that something wasn't right. But these people that are doing it are very good. I always say that if they would be rich, if they would spend as much time working as they do. So it's not shameful. It's something that they are perpetrating against you, and they know exactly how to do it. And so just, don't be too hard on yourself if you've ever fallen for one of these.
Well, and that's the thing. That's a good point. These are professional thieves. These are professional perpetrators, and they're calling people that have not been trained, not been made aware. I mean, as you said, Cindy, they're looking for a phone call. They're looking to talk to somebody. And so, I mean, there's been just egregious things that have happened to people. And Cindy, I know you've got a couple of very interesting stories about how people have kind of, this is door to door. I mean, these people come and knock on your door, not just over the phone or not just, through the cyber digital ways in which a lot of fraud is taking place, but this is face-to-face door knocking.
I think what's happening is people see an opportunity, and people who may not have very good ethics see an opportunity to take advantage of someone. And a couple cases that we've had is one person who, during Christmas time, someone came to their door, knocked on their door and said, gosh, your trees need trimming. His wife was gone. He had some cognitive issues and agrees to have the trees trimmed. Doesn't remember to ask about price, so doesn't negotiate price. The trees are trimmed in a rather quick amount of time, and the gentleman goes back to the door and asks the homeowner for $2,400. And he said, I don't have any cash. I don't know how to get it. I'd have to go to the bank. And the tree trimmer says, well, I can take you to the bank. Where do you bank? TCF. I can find a TCF. Let's go. So the gentleman gets in the car with a stranger who he doesn't know, gets in the car, drives somewhere. He had his bank card with him and withdrew $2,400. He gets dropped off at home. The wife comes home and sees that there's some activity that happened in the front yard, and then finds out that they're short $2,400, and there's no recourse for them to take. I also wanted to mention, too, right while we were talking, Mike Marbin mentioned that the scammers actually it's a place of employment. They're actually opening up businesses where people are hired 9 to 5, and they go to work every day, and their job is to call and scam people. And I don't know if they actually know what they're doing. I'd have to think they do because of the scripts that they're given. So I think when you have that type of force that's out there trying to penetrate these people, these elderly people who may have cognitive issues, and they have this money and they're trusting. That's the other thing about this generation.
That's true. This generation, very
trusting. And
we
so
talked about, too, the example of the government entities, the scams that are saying call Social Security, Medicare. They don't really know and if this is accurate or not, so they call. And then, like you said, these guys are so good that they're saying and doing things that they never intended on doing.
And these scammers, they're pure evil. I mean, they look for the most vulnerable of Americans. And they don't care about, bereavement. They don't care about hospitalizations. They don't care about anything. We were taking care of some folks a few years ago. The gentleman was in a TCU, and he got a scam call on his cell phone while he was in a transitional care unit, and he'd been there for a month, so he was very comfortable with the aide that was taking care of him. And he asked the aide, he says, could you go out and buy me $2,000 worth of Visa gift cards so I can read the numbers? Otherwise, I'm going to jail. Well, thank God that the aide at the TCU was smart enough to go to his administrators, and they got in touch with the family and they squashed it. But it just kind of shows you the depravity of these people. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I can't think of any other word but evil.
No, that's true. But what I'm seeing is that there's just a lack of information. For some reason, we're all in elder care. We're all involved in helping support our senior citizens and their caregivers and the families. But this event that you guys are hosting in 2 weeks on September 18th, I don't see many efforts out there to get this information to people. It seems like it's one of these things that just is not talked about, even though it is hiding in plain sight in front of us all the time.
I think, too, our generation, I'm a baby boomer myself, we may look at some of these and think, oh, well, no one would fall for that, but they're not the one sitting alone in their apartment and hasn't had a visitor. They don't have the, technology down. They don't have the things that we have. So we forget that they really are targeting, the older person that is the vulnerable person.
And they're so trusting.
Yeah.
That greatest generation is a very trusting generation.
Well, if you think about it, they're very private. They're very trusting. They respect government, and they have a fear of losing their independence, and that's why sometimes it goes unreported. What if you were told that no, you can't do your finances anymore after this is found out?
Right.
And they just don't want to lose that.
Right.
And the two biggest concerns that a senior has are their health and their financial situation, and both really under attack just by age. But there's people that are just trying to get their money all the time. And, when you talk about health issues, there's all sorts of associations, and they can talk to their personal doctor, specialist. With senior scams, there's nobody. Mm-hmm. They really don't have any besides their family. And the one thing, a lot of the senior communities are stepping up and making sure that their residents are aware. But what we did is we tried to give a central place where they could go, once a year and really get the latest and the updates on what these attacks against their financial situations are.
That's a very great point, Terry. They are evolving. They're changing. Again, these professional perpetrators are constantly honing their craft. And so this is great to have an annual conference. We are up against the clock again here at the end of our third break. So when we come back for our fourth and final segment, we're going to talk more about some of these scams and remind you about the conference being held on September 18th. So we'll be right back to continue our conversation with Laura Dodd, Cindy Johnson, and Terry Collins on senior scams. Please stay with us.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the metro. Ryan is so excited about working with AM 950 and our listeners that he wants to help us grow.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow this summer, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
Hello, fellow AM 950 listeners. This is Jasia from Nightingale at 26 in Lindale. Come experience our delicious signature dishes and exciting rotation of inventive seasonal fare from my wife and chef, Carrie, and her team. Nightingale is the perfect place to gather for any occasion, with our extensive wine, beer, and cocktail selection, along with our dedication to great service. We offer a full menu every day from 4 to 1 a.m., 2 award-winning daily happy hours, and weekend brunch at 10. More at nightingalempls.com.
We use technology every day to help manage our lives. Why not use it to help manage your medications? St. Paul Corner Drug offers several free tools to keep you on track while taking your medications. Use our mobile app to quickly order a refill, or the Meds on Q application, which turns your smartphone or tablet into your very own personal medication attendant. Email and text messaging options let you know when your medication is ready for pickup, making efficient use of your time. St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be.
There are so many times in life when it's important to have a plan. I'm attorney Rachel Schroman, and I can tell you from experience that so much pain can be prevented with an estate plan or an arrangement for long-term care costs. I work with families with many different dynamics and budgets, and my goal is always to give them peace of mind while helping them protect their legacy. Learn more about me at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Get guaranteed appliance savings from Minnesota's own Warner Stallion. Here's our winning lineup. Warner Stallion sells more brands than anyone. Their specialists help you choose what's best for you, easy and fun. And the savings, they're guaranteed. Then save more with Warner Stallion's trusted, fast free delivery, professional installation, and free haul away. Join over 300,000 Minnesota homeowners. Choose Warner Stallion to be your appliance specialist before September 11th for unbeatable appliance savings. Warner Stallion.
right. Welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today live in studio is Laura Dodd, Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home in Bloomington. We also have Cindy Johnson, Life Care Coordinator at the law firm of Mazur, Amundsen, and Boggio, and they're located in Richfield, and Terry Collins, Director of Outreach and Community Relations at Touching Hearts at Home, and they have offices in Bloomington and Plymouth. And today's topic we are talking about is senior scams. And before we get back into the conversation, Laura, let's remind our audience how they can reach you if they have questions or want a tour of Minnesota Masonic Home.
Yes, my phone number is 952-948-7405.
And Cindy, if people have questions, legal questions or elder care questions, how do they get a hold of you and your organization?
952-925-4147.
Terry, if they have questions about home health and home care, how do they get a hold of you?
You can call me directly at 952-652-4530.
All right, this is the last and shortest segment here, so I want to make sure we get this information in because I know people are really interested in this. Let's talk about the conference and remind people why are we having this conference and what are the benefits of attending this conference that's being held Wednesday, September 18th at Minnesota Masonic Home. Cindy, do you have any thoughts here on the benefits that people will receive from attending this conference?
Our speakers are going to be presenting the different scams that are out in the community now. They're going to address those. You'll hear ones that maybe you haven't heard about so that you can be prepared if you are actually approached by these types of scams. So you'll hear about all the different scams that are out there. We're also going to talk about what can you do if you are scammed. What are some avenues of direction that we can give you to figure out how to fix what has happened. And also we want to say, give people some idea of how to protect themselves, how to interact with these scammers. Do we interact? Do we not interact? Do we just hang up the phone?
Well, and just even the topics of the two presenters I thought was pretty interesting. Mike Marvin is saying 10,000 lakes, 10,000 scams. And so I know there's just so many different scams that are out there, and it's helpful to understand the nature of the scam itself so that you can recognize it when you are either hearing it or you're being texted it or someone knocks on your door. And of course, the other one is who is ripping off your mother today and who will be doing it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's a fascinating title here being presented by Chris Mazur. So one of the goals I know of the conference is to make people more aware of the different scams. What are some ways in which people, some takeaway items from this broadcast about prevention and protection? What are some things people should do to try to prevent this from happening and how they can protect themselves or their loved ones that maybe they're caring for?
Yeah, Mike Marvin actually last year at the last scam conference, he brought up something that was to me, it just stuck with me, and I think it's very helpful. It's very simple, but if you do hang up the phone and you think you did something wrong, or if you're not sure, just simply call somebody, someone that you feel safe with, or just speak it out loud. Sometimes they're so good at what they do, you don't really realize it, but if you really speak it out loud and hear it, you can really see that, that this doesn't make sense. But sometimes it's hard to see that until you actually tell someone or say it out loud.
Yeah, and the old adage, if it's too good to be true,
it is.
Probably is.
That's so true. Mm-hmm.
Cindy,
Mike talked a lot about hanging up the phone. He also talked a lot about, and so does Chris, how do these people get your information? Chris talks about even when you put ads or put newspaper information in about a funeral and giving away too much information. There are people who go through those articles every week, and then they target you, and you talk about all your family members' names. So you're an easy target and a victim at a vulnerable time in your life.
Well, and it reminds me, the granddaughter or grandson scam that is I must hear that about once or twice a month, people that have had that happen. Who wants to just explain what the granddaughter or grandson, I'm in Canada and I'm arrested for, something. Terry,
that's pretty much it. You're in Canada or in Mexico or at a resort, and hey, I just got thrown in jail. I don't know why. Grandma, can you help me out? But don't tell Mom and Dad. And who's gonna if you can't recognize the voice, or if you're just a little bit hearing impaired, or who's not going to respond to that?
Well, it's can you wire $2,000 or can you wire $5,000 or whatever it is?
And sometimes they may have the name, but if they don't, they'll say, "Grandma, I need help." "Oh, is this you, Johnny?" And then they'll say, "Yes, it's Johnny." And then they take it from there. "Why does your voice sound different?" "Because I'm calling from I'm out in Mexico. I got in trouble. I need help."
And they
don't tell Mom.
They don't even have to wire. I mean, the scammers right now are using,
credit cards,
gift cards, whatever.
Your personal checking account with a routing number and the account number.
So it doesn't even take a wire. It's just, and then they have that information. That's not the only phone call they're going to get down the road. So
I think Mike Marbin says as soon as you pick up one phone call from a scammer, that it goes out to 8 others.
That's true. They know you're a live call then.
A live call. So it's great not to answer that phone. I think, too, that I want to mention, Ken, that people can just come to this event. You can just show up at the Minnesota Masonic Hall. It starts at 8 o'clock to 8:30. We're having breakfast, and then we'll have a couple presentations, and the program will be done by 11:30. And you can register on Eventbrite, which is Senior Scams 2019. So if you'd like to register, that's great, too.
And gosh, we wish they would, because we'd like to know who's coming or how many people are coming.
Well, we need to know how many eggs to.
Right. And what's the cost to attend?
It is free to attend for all people, professionals or community members. So we really hope that you can make it out to the Minnesota Masonic Home. You have our phone numbers, and people can feel free to call us if you need more information or directions or help registering.
And for professionals, there's three CU credits for social workers that are available on offer for attending this event.
Fantastic. All right. We are nearing the end of the show. I want to thank Laura Dodd, Director of Admissions and Community Outreach at Minnesota Masonic Home, located in Bloomington. Also, Cindy Johnson, Life Care Community Coordinator at the law firm of Mazer, Amundsen, and Boggio, and they're located in Richfield. And Terry Collins, Director of Outreach and Community Relations at Touching Hearts at Home, with locations in Bloomington and Plymouth. Thank you guys for a great conversation about senior scams and how to protect your loved ones from being victimized by these perpetrators. Please consider attending the 3rd annual Senior Scams Conference being held at Minnesota Masonic Home on Wednesday, September 18th. Breakfast starts at 8 o'clock, and the conference begins at 8:30 a.m. and goes for about 3 hours until 11:30 a.m. And as Terry mentioned, 3 CEU credits are available for attending. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation, or let us know of other topics you want to talk about in the future. Please join us again next Saturday at noon for another live broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, live well.